Isaac Newton is widely regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of science. His contributions to mathematics, physics, and astronomy fundamentally changed how humanity understands the natural world. Beyond his scientific work, Newton's life included lesser-known chapters in alchemy, theology, and public service. This documentary examines Newton's biography, his key scientific achievements, his conflicts, and his enduring legacy. Early life and education. Isaac Newton was born on January 4, 1643 in Walthrop, Lincolnshire, England. His father had died 3 months before his birth, and his mother remarried when he was 3, leaving him in the care of his grandmother. His childhood was marked by loneliness and feelings of abandonment. Despite these hardships, Newton showed an early interest in mechanics and inventions. He built sundials and models of mechanics, demonstrating curiosity and ingenuity. In 1661, he entered Trinity College, Cambridge, where he studied classical philosophy but also pursued newer ideas from thinkers such as Descartes and Galileo. The Plague Years and Major Discoveries. In 1665, the Great Plague forced Cambridge to close, and Newton returned to his family home in Walthrop. This 2-year period became one of the most productive phases of his life. During this time, Newton developed the foundations of calculus, which he called fluxes, formulated the law of motion that described how objects move, conceived the law of universal gravitation, recognizing that the same force governing falling objects also governed the motions of celestial bodies, conducted experiments with light and optics, demonstrating that white light is composed of different colors, which he revealed by passing sunlight through the prism. He also constructed the first practical reflecting telescope, which used mirrors instead of lenses. This design avoided distortions found in refracting telescopes and remains the basis for most modern telescopes. One of the most famous stories connected with Isaac Newton is that of the apple tree at his childhood home, Walthrop Manor. According to later accounts, Newton saw an apple fall while reflecting in the garden during the plague years of 1665 and 1667. This simple event sparked his question: why do objects always fall straight down? And could the same force extend to the moon and planets? Though the story has been embellished over centuries, historians confirm that Newton himself described the falling apple as the inspiration for thinking about universal gravitation. Today, descendants of that original tree still grow at Walthrop and have even been propagated around the world as the living symbol of Newton's discovery. Optics and conflict with Hooke. In 1672, Newton became a Fellow of the Royal Society and presented his telescope and his work on optics. His theory that white light consists of multiple colors met with resistance. Robert Hooke, a senior figure in the society, criticized Newton's conclusions. This began a long and bitter rivalry between Newton and Hooke. Newton disliked criticism and withdrew from publishing further research for years. His book Optics would not appear until 1704 after Hooke's death. The Principia Mathematica. Newton's most famous work, Philosophia's Naturalis Principia Mathematica, was published in 1687. Supported by Edmund Halley, the book outlined the 3 laws of motion and the law of universal gravitation. The Principia unified the motion of falling bodies on Earth with the motion of planets and comets in space. It provided mathematical explanations of phenomena such as tides, planetary orbits, and the precession of equinoxes. This publication established Newton as the leading scientist of his time and laid the foundation for classical mechanics. Alchemy and theology. Outside of public science, Newton devoted much of his private time to alchemy and theology. He studied ancient texts and performed experiments in search of the philosopher's stone. His writing suggests he believed in hidden natural laws that connected matter and spirit. Newton also wrote extensively on biblical prophecy. He predicted that major religious transformations might occur around the year 2060, though he did not describe this as the end of the world, but as the beginning of a new era of peace. Role as the Royal Mint. In 1696, Newton was appointed Warden of the Royal Mint, later becoming Master of the Mint. He oversaw the Great Recoinage, standardizing and reforming England's currency. Newton pursued counterfeiters relentlessly, personally gathering evidence and prosecuting cases. His work in this role demonstrated his precision and administrative ability. It also showed another side of Newton, disciplined, practical, and determined to protect national stability. Leadership as the Royal Society. After Robert Hooke's death in 1703, Newton became the president of the Royal Society. He used his position to strengthen the society's influence. Though his leadership was also marked by the famous dispute with Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz over the invention of calculus, Newton strongly defended his claim to priority, even anonymously authorizing reports that favored his position. This dispute highlighted his competitive and sometimes vindictive personality. Later life and death. Newton was knighted by Queen Anne in 1705. In his later years, he remained a central figure in English science and public life. Despite occasional health issues and controversies, he was celebrated as a national hero. Isaac Newton died in London on March 31, 1727, at the age of 84. He was buried with honors in Westminster Abbey, an acknowledgement of his extraordinary impact on science and society. Newton's laws shaped physics for centuries and still guide engineering and space exploration today. His life reflects both scientific brilliance and human complexity. A thinker of rational science and mystical pursuits, Newton's legacy endures as one of history's greatest minds. As the poet Alexander Pope wrote in tribute, "Nature and nature's laws lay hidden night. God said, let Newton be, and all was light." Thank you for watching. See you next time.